Hello, and welcome to another episode of Ask Octopus, where we answer questions we get from customers we talk to, from the community, from support questions, all kinds of sources. So let's jump into a question. Today, I'm Ryan Russo, and I've got a whole group with me. I've got Derek, Bob, and James. How are you guys doing?
Doing
Doing
great.
awesome.
Awesome.
Good.
All right.
What about you,
All
Ryan?
right, guy. How am I? I'm good, man. I just finished my coffee, so I am wired.
Coffee's good.
It is
Coffee.
too hot this morning for me. Well, I went on a bike ride before this. It's too hot for me to drink like anything hot, like coffee or tea.
Yeah,
I live in
I'm
Scotland, so it's never too hot for that.
I mean, I just polished off my Incredible Hulk cup of water.
Beautiful.
That's nice. I need to get one of those. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to start switching to like cold brew at some point. There's a good brand of like cold brew, like espresso mix that I like. I was like, well, I'm
Nice.
probably gonna. It's just like caffeinated chocolate milk, basically.
Perfect.
Oh, man. Sugar isn't enough.
No, not enough. All right, cool. The question I'm doing today is how can I use the deploy release step and have the child project use the same or the parent's channel, so the same channel as the parent. Have you guys had this question come up before?
Not specifically from a customer, more specifically for scenarios I'm trying to set up for my demos.
No,
Yeah, I haven't run across it firsthand yet.
Yeah. I think a few weeks ago I had a customer ask me this one, and I didn't know the answer, so I had to like dig in and figure it out. So just to recap, what the question, what it pertains to. So I've got some sample, like our OctoFX projects. I've got our database, our Windows service, and our website. And then I have this OctoFX full, which has the process that's going to run through and use the deploy or release step. So with Octopus now, I think this was released like March, April last year.
Yeah.
You can come in and you can actually set up a step to deploy another project. So it's great for like composing projects, breaking them down into their components, and then being able to deploy them as a group. So I could individually deploy my database or my website if those are the only things that's changed, or I can deploy them all together. Now, you may have noticed I have two channels already set up. So I've got version 1 and version 2 as a channel. And I have, with each of these projects, the same thing. They all have the same channel set up. And one thing to note here is I did rename the default channel because it seemed weird to have default and then version 2. That's one thing. I don't know if many people do that, but you can just rename it. It's still the default because that's a flag on the channel itself. So I just renamed that to version 1, version 2 as a separate channel. Now, the problem or the question arises with if I go and create a release, you'll see that I can select any, even though I've selected like this version 1, it's picking any release regardless of the channel. So this 001 is in the version 1 channel for all 3 projects. 002 is in the version 2 channel for all 3 projects. So even though I've got channel 1 selected, it's choosing the release of the child and the other channel. If I select the channel 2, I can go in and choose a release that's in the different channel. Do you guys know like why that is, why it doesn't limit it to begin with?
So the way that deploy or release step works is when you do that select package version, so to speak, kind of a misnomer. It's basically I'm packaging that release. That release is my package. That's my snapshot. So that's what I'm selecting. And the reason why it probably selects the most recent one, and which I'm sure you're about to show us, is just it's probably what your channel rule is set to.
Right. Yeah. So that's exactly it. Just like in a normal project when you have multiple channels, any package can go to any channel unless you have package rules set up. And because the release, there's no real connection between this parent, what I call a parent project, the OctoFX full project, and the 3 child projects. There's no real connection other than it's configured in a deploy release step. Octopus doesn't know that they're connected and they have the same channels and that you would like them to use the same channels across deployments. But what you can do, as Bob kind of alluded to there, is you can go in and set up inside your channels, you can set package rules. So you can set a version rule and say, hey, I want my deploy database step to be in this version range. Now, this is great if you've already got a packet or a release number scheme that is going to be distinct between those two channels. I don't. You can see I had releases 001 and 002. They don't. Is that I could make it like 1.01 and 2.02, and then I could set up the channels to have those schemes. And if you're doing that with your packages already, then you're most of the way there. All you really need to do is add the package version. What I'm going to do, because I don't actually have packages for this project set up, I'm going to just change the scheme to something unique, but I'm going to use something that I didn't know you could do until a few weeks ago. You can actually, so when you're setting up your release versioning, if you're not using a package version, you're using one of the templates. So you can have it just build based on like a schema where it auto increments. You can use dates. So if you want a date-based one, but you can also add the channel name into the release number if you like. So I'm going to do something that is almost like adding a pre-release number. I'm going to add the channel name to this version number. So if I create a release now, you can see that it's now 0.0.3-V and then or -V-1.0, the channel number. Don't really like the way that looks. I'm going to add a few more things. But while I'm doing that, did y'all know that the channel name was available for this field?
No clue.
I didn't either.
Nope.
And one thing I found is Octopus has like all these great links that has like extra information, and I just almost never click into them. And yeah, it's like right there. You can go in and grab it. There's even I haven't looked at this version component with a channel name, but
Yeah, I think the reason I probably don't click on them is because sometimes it's just a link to the doco, and I'm like, I don't really want to go away at this particular point in time. I just need to be better at expanding that out because I mean it's there. Might as well use it. I mean we took the effort to write all that.
yeah, I have to check, but I think maybe the ones that link off to the doco have the little external like
They do.
icon.
Yeah, they do. It's just a failure.
It's just,
failure of attention on my end.
No, I completely get it. But I was like, I didn't realize that was there, and then I clicked it one day. I was like, oh man, that's like so useful to see what the rules are because I usually go look it up in the doco and hunt it down. But what I'd really like to do is pull that version number, that channel name, and make it a little bit cleaner. So we have the ability through the variable substitution to use filters, and we have a replace filter that can use regex. So I am going to basically strip out anything that's not alphanumeric, and hopefully I typed this right the first time. That looks bad. That looks wrong. All right, that looks more correct. And you can actually change these, and I want to just like make it lowercase. So it's a little bit of a mouthful here. I want to take the channel name, strip out anything that's not alphanumeric, and then I want to make it all lowercase. I'm actually going to copy this because I don't want to type that more than once. So if I go to create a release now, you can see now it's 003-V10. So it's got the channel name in there. So I'm going to do that.
I am so thankful I didn't get this question right.
I've done a lot of work with channels and the version rules and everything, like especially like pre-release tags over the years. So I've probably done things that would be considered like abuse of the feature, but yeah. So now we've got those two. We've got something that we can build a package rule around. Like I said, if you're already using like a package version that is distinct between the channels, you don't have to set this up. But I wanted to go ahead and do that, and I probably should have set it up for these projects to begin with. But it shouldn't take long for me to run through this. We can chit chat as I'm copying and pasting in here. Anybody got something interesting to say?
Just dead air.
Dead air. Crickets.
That's pressure. All right,
That is
pressure.
a lot of pressure. It's like say something funny. Something
right.
funny.
I thought so somebody got interesting. I almost said interesting, but
Oh man, Derek's got the dad jokes.
We're just working on dad jokes.
there we go.
No, I'm almost done. Bear with me, guys. So we're going to get to the final part of this. I just need to set these releases up to do the final piece of the demo, and we're going to head back to our dashboard to our full one. So now that I have distinct release numbers for each of those channels, going back to Bob's original insight, we can set up package version rules. So I can come in and say for each of my packages, because they are all the same, I just want the ones that have a pre-release tag of V10. So it will come in here and tell us, yep, that looks right. And save that. Change to our other channel. Pick our 3 package steps, which are really our deploy release steps, and throw that V20 on there. I always double check, even though I'm pretty sure that'll work. And now when we create a release, you can see that it's selecting the child releases that match our channel rule. So if we go in and switch, it'll switch it to the ones that match. So if you need to have that connection, to have that rule of, if I'm deploying my parent project to this specific channel and the other ones match, you need a unique versioning scheme per channel, or something that you can identify the releases through per channel in your child projects, and then a version rule in your parent project, and you will be good to go.
Very nice.
Yeah, that is it. So yeah, that was an interesting one. I knew it would be probably something like that, but just having the ability to throw that channel name into the version, like maybe that won't work for everybody, but you know, if you can, it's an option. It's available there.
At least it opens up a couple of different ideas, I think. And that's really, I guess that's really the whole goal of this, is just to trigger some ideas.
Yeah, for sure. So that is my question for the week. If you have an interesting question, you can submit it at hello.octopus.com/askoctopus. If you have an issue, a bug, or something you're encountering, send an email to support@octopus.com, and somebody from the team will get back and help you get back on your feet and working, and maybe you'll see your scenario in a future episode. And otherwise, join us on Slack, octopus.com/Slack. You can sign up to our community channel and hang out and chat with us in there, ask questions. All right, I am done. James, Bob, Derek, thank you so much for joining, and thanks for your feedback and walking through that scenario with me.
Thanks, Ryan.
And thank you. You have a good one.
You too.